It's Mr. Glenn here. What we're going to do is go and set our sprites. We were up to the point where we just wanted to go and set our sprites as a player. However, instead of sort of collecting everything into the start menu, which tends to be a little bit sort of messy, it's not very tidy. We go to advanced and we have these things called functions. What functions are able to do is just collect things together and just keep things out of the way, and you can call them as and when you want things to happen. So if you wanted to have like the ball going off into another sprite, let's say you've got a black sprite that looks invisible and it hits it, then you can have a score that way, right? But it means you don't have to have something nested within one giant container. So let's go and call this call underscore right underscore paddle, right? So we'll call it that. Done. And then in our functions, we could just remember to call it straight away. So once it's there, we just want to call it straight into the start menu. We can go and set our sprite to be the kind of player. And go to assets, and which one was the right? Let's go into assets, find out which color it was. Paddle left, yellow. So let's go into our yellow. Call this assets yellow. We want it to be right. Yeah, look, it's got the right down the bottom. Good. So that will then put it on the bit in the middle. And we kind of want to go and set our sprite to be. We want the position, don't we? So set the sprite on the X. So what I'm going to do is just remind us, because we're going to be using X and Y a lot in a second. And what I'm going to do is just very quickly draw this for us so we can actually see what it is that I'm talking about in terms of X, Y, minus X, minus Y, plus X, etc., etc. So let me go and switch my screen out. So I'll just switch this screen out for us, like so. And it should transition. There we go. Now, in this game, so in the game you've got the box like this, and then you'll have your controllers, and then you have your D-pad like this. On the screen here, you'll have this, and then Y plus, Y minus, and then this is X minus, and then this is X plus. So anything going that way is X is plus X, and then anything going up is plus Y, and anything going the left and down is obviously the complete opposite. So if it's got a diagonal line like this and it's going that way, this is minus X minus Y, and then that way is obviously the opposite. Okay, and this is going to be very important later on because of the way that the ball is going to bounce off the paddle. We have to do something to make it so when the ball hits the paddle, we've got to make it actually bounce properly rather than going behind it and going a little bit skew whiff. So that's a quick rundown, making sure that we understand that. And then, by the magic of OBS, we shall bring it back like this. There we go. So let's go and get our sprite. We want our sprite to be sort of over that way, and we said that the pixels was 160 wide. So this is our paddle right. So we want this one to be about 150. I think. Yes, there it is. Look, you can see. And then we want to control. Let's we be the controller on the right hand side. We be the main controller. So we have layer 1. And we use that with. We don't want it to go in up and down, so we want this to be 0, and then we want our character to be going up and down. 100 is quite slow. Let's just test it out. Let's go and see what it looks like, what it plays like. So there we've got our character. This is up and down. In fact, I'm going to cut that out. Actually, this is incorrect. What we should do is go and change the variables. That's what we should be doing. Let's go and change the variables so that we have a new variable and call this paddle R. like this, and we're going to change this to paddle R, so we can actually change this. There you can see we've got the black triangle to tell us that something's incorrect. So now we should be able to go and make this move, providing that I haven't forgotten something. And I have forgotten something, got way ahead of myself, and I'm going to pull this out for a second, and I'm going to go into here and move my paddle R with buttons, and I want Vx to be 0, and I want this, let's keep it at 100 for a moment. Let's see how it plays now. We should be able to, there we go, that's more like it. So using WS, we can get our player 1 going up and down there. We may switch them over because player 1 with the W and S key is, with the WS key, the WS key is on that side. Anyway, we'll persevere. Maybe you can change this yourself. Next, we will go and make the left paddle in a second, and I'll leave you to build that yourself, and then I'll come back in clip number 3. All right, as always, good luck.